In 1519, Hernan Cortez made a decision that would echo through history. Upon landing on the shores of the New World, he faced impossible odds. Outnumbered and surrounded by uncertainty, he gave an audacious order: burn the ships. With no way to retreat, his men had one choice: fight to succeed or die trying. And they did succeed. Cortez's story isn't just about conquest, it's about commitment. It's about making bold decisions, eliminating excuses, and going all in on your vision. Welcome to Burning the Ships, the podcast where we explore what it means to take risks, push boundaries, and refuse to look back. I'm Jason Seward, your host, and each episode we'll share stories, strategies, and insights to help you tackle your challenges head on, overcome obstacles, and make your own history. This is Burning the Ships. Let's get started. Welcome to Weekly Ramble. Today's topic is going to be kind of centered around parenting, and specifically it's going to be really stemmed by a quote I recently heard, and I'm going to paraphrase the quote. I don't have it in front of me, but essentially it was saying, as parents, our young children respect and love us because we're their parents, right? They need us. We kind of dictate upon them that we are the parents to be respected, all those things, right? Eventually they will become adults and they will have to really have their own perspectives around us, and do they respect us, not just as their parents, but as human beings. Are they proud of us? Are they proud of the choices we make, how we carry ourselves, and things like that? So again, the quote went something like, your parents love you because you're their, your children love you because you're their parents. They respect you because they're little and they are your children. But eventually they're going to become an adult. And as an adult, will your children be proud of you? And that spurred a lot of thoughts in my head around that. And I've probably touched on some of these topics or some of these thoughts in previous episodes, but I really want to dive in on that thought. Will my kids be proud of me when they reach an age and a level of maturity, really adulthood, where they are mature enough to make their own opinions and assessments of human beings, right? Of adults and how they live their lives and stuff like that. So I think about this a lot. Really probably obsess over it a little bit too much. I want to be someone that my children are very proud of, right? Are proud to call dad, not just because I'm dad, not just because I provide things, right? But because they respect how I lead my life and how I carry myself, how I take care of myself, how I show up for the rest of the world and folks around me and my business and my health and my wealth and all those things. I want them to be proud of it. So when they're little, we can kind of dictate a lot of this, right? We can tell them whatever narrative we want to tell them and make them think of us however we want them to think of us, right? If my son is 8 years old, if I wanted to convince him that I was a national champion baseball player, right? I played travel baseball and we won the Little League World Series when I was a kid, and I went on to be a superstar athlete, baseball player, one of the best that ever came through my high school, but I just didn't make it to the major leagues because I injured myself, right? At 8 years old, he will believe every word of that, and I can create this narrative in his mind that I am a superstar, was a superstar, and he's going to follow right in my footsteps. Well, eventually he's going to become, and I'm using an extreme example because I was none of those things. I loved baseball. I was decent at it as a child, but that's about it. Um, but I can create whatever narrative I want. Eventually, he's going to become an adult. And a couple things are going to happen. Number one, he's going to realize that's not true because eventually he'll figure out, oh, dad wasn't any of these things. I've never heard anybody else say how good at baseball he was, so must not have been that great. So, number one, he'll see me at that point as a liar. I lied to him and made stuff up. But number two, it kind of goes along with number one, but he'll question my integrity. He won't have faith in other things that I've told him or I tell him, right? So will he be proud of me? No. He'll view me as somebody that just makes stuff up, or he'll carry on those same traits. Like he'll think it's okay because I'm his dad, right? He'll think it's okay to just embellish things and make people think you are who you aren't and stuff like that. Uh, Neither of those are good. Like either he's going to see it for what it is and not respect me and be proud of me, or he's going to emulate those same behaviors. Not good. So while eventually your kids are going to become adults and they're going to be able to look back on you, not just who you are at that point. You know, when they're adults and you're older, they're going to see you for who you are then, but they're going to be able to look back on their childhood and who you were at that point. And for me, I want them to look back and see a dad that was someone that they're proud of. And proud of in the sense, not just, again, like I said earlier, not just because I paid the bills, right? Gave them a nice house to live in and a pool and all the things that they have because they know that I worked for it or their mother worked for it or whatever. Not just that. Are they proud of how I took care of myself? That's the big one that's on my brain all the time. And the reason that's so important, and I struggle because I know a lot of people don't have the same perspectives I do on this, because I get pretty extreme with it. But how we show up for ourselves when they're young, when these kids are young, is going to pay so many dividends down the road, good or bad. A bad dividend would be your health is declining and you can't do anything with them, right? Or you're not even here to enjoy life with them, either because you passed away because you didn't take care of yourself, or you're just physically incapable of keeping up with life and what they're doing. This is a huge thing, folks. It's the one of the most selfish things, in my opinion, and I know this is controversial, and I know it's going to trigger some people, and it's going to go against what a lot of people think, but I believe it's very selfish to not take care of yourself, right? Some people think it is selfish to block off time, to take time away from your family and your business and stuff like that, to exercise and to do things and read books and do things like that. People look at that as like extracurricular, taking time away from things that are most important. No, it's the most important thing to make time for yourself, right? Again, I realize that is very difficult for some people to have that same viewpoint, but I'm going to elaborate on it. And this is why I think and hope my kids are proud of me for having this perspective, and it means a lot to me, so I'm going to share it. I take my health very serious, and it's not because I want to look good in pictures when I'm at the beach with my family. It's not because I, want to be some kind of, I want to look good on social media or look good in every room I walk into. I don't really genuinely could not care about any of that. I exercise and take care of my health for myself because I want to be vibrant, strong, and present physically with my children, my grandchildren, and everybody in my life for as long as I can possibly be. So if I don't do that, in my opinion, if I don't focus on these things as a 43-year-old man, I had to think about that for a second. The years are stack it up. I keep calling myself a 40-year-old, but I'm just realized that I'm 43. So anyway, as a 43-year-old man, if I don't do and continue to do the things that keep me healthy, then my body and my mind will quickly decline, right? So as a 53-year-old man and as a 63-year-old man, I'm not going to be physically able to do the things that my children are going to need and want me to do. They won't be proud of that. They won't be proud of me. They might be proud of some things about me, but the most important thing is me physically being present for them and their children one day, or their children's children one day, me as a grandfather or a great grandfather. That is the number one thing of importance for my health, to be there to do the things with them. And if I don't make that a priority now, then I won't be able to do it. And they will not be proud of that. They will resent me, not overall, but they'll resent that piece of me, right? That I didn't do the things at the age I'm at now to set myself up to make life better for them and our family as we get older, right? So that's why it's so important. That's why I grind away in the gym every single day. That's why I try to eat as healthy as I can eat most of the time. I'm not always good with it, right? But I try. I make a genuine effort that over time that's going to compound and make me overall healthier, right? I I think about and look at a lot of folks that are, you know, my parents' age, right? In their 60s and beyond. And then I look at their children who are my age and how much joy they would have in their life if they could just physically do the things they used to do with their parents, right? Um, go out into the yard and throw baseball. Go play a game of horse and basketball. Um, go for a hike. Go for a couple mile walk, right? Without having to physically worry about your parent. Um, wrestle, run, play tag, swim, um, all the things. These are all things that I know. Hunt, anything outdoors that I know my kids are going to want to do with me for a long time, and their kids are going to want to do this. I will disappoint them if I'm not physically able to do it. So they see me now working hard to not only be there for them physically now, to be able to do all the things I just listed that are important to our family, but when I get older, that I can continue to do it. So again, like my mom, my favorite person on the planet. She raised me. I love her. She was the first person I loved, and she's the first person to love me. The most important person on the planet. My mom tries. Now, it's up and down just like anybody else, but she tries to take care of herself. She's trying harder than ever now. You know, she's in her 60s and she's trying harder than ever, because she wants to be able to roll around on the floor with those grandkids. And she wants to be able to not be winded after taking a walk with them and doing these things like that. I want it. As her child, that's important to me. I want her to do these things. She doesn't have to go run a marathon, but I want her to be able to walk around and get up and do things with us, right? For as long as she possibly can. And if she doesn't take care of her health, in a way that allows her to do that to some level as long as she can, if I'm being honest, I will be disappointed, right? I will be disappointed that because she chose not to do the healthy things, which again, she's trying, but if she chooses not to and just lets herself go, then I will be disappointed. I will resent that because it's robbing our family of time with one of the most important pieces of our family, my mom, right? So I want to be that same way for my kids because I know they're going to have these same thoughts. And I don't ever want a inkling of doubt to creep into their heads that daddy can't do this, because I remember when he was 43 years old, he just came home every day, he sat on the couch, he ate ice cream, He got up the next morning, did it again. He just got fatter and fatter and fatter and unhealthy. And now he can't do the things that all that would be resentment. It goes beyond health and nutrition as well, right? So, well, this is a piece of it, but let's say, like, I enjoy having a drink of alcohol, right? I enjoy doing it socially when I am out with my friends, when I'm at events. Occasionally, I like doing it at my home when I'm just grilling out. I have to keep that in moderation because it is in me, it is in my DNA to go too far with things, right? To become dependent. My father had a lifetime of this where he struggled with addiction to drugs and alcohol, and our family suffered for that. So I'm always aware of that, and I have to keep myself regulated and never let myself go too far. But let's say I didn't pay attention to that. And let's say I every night came home and had several drinks to the point I was buzzed and having, struggling getting around the house and drunk while I'm hanging out with my kids and stuff like that. And then they saw me getting blackout drunk at events and where Katie has to drive me home and I can slur my words and stuff like that. Do you think they're going to be proud of that? They're kids now, so they might be, they can laugh it off. Ha ha, daddy's drinking, blah, blah, blah. As they get older, they're either going to resent me for it because it's embarrassing and their dad is now having health issues because of all the alcohol he drank, or they're going to emulate that same behavior and be the same way and repeat those same patterns. So I have an obligation to not carry that too far, right? And explain to them, right? If they ever ask me about drinking, which my 13-year-old now, we talk about these things. Moderation, moderation, moderation. Occasionally, when the circumstances are right and I am in a safety bubble and there's no chance of harming anyone or myself or anything like that, I might have a few more drinks, right? But those are exceptions to the daily rule, which is head down, be healthy, don't drink excessively, take care of your body. And that's the model I have to set. And I want them to be proud of me for being that way. And I also want to set a model of behavior that hopefully they carry on into their adult lives, right? How I treat people. My kids hear me all the time having conversations with people. I have to talk to people all day, every day in my business. They hear me interacting with people. What they hear is me bringing good, positive energy to all those conversations. They will not hear me getting angry on the phone, cussing people out, losing my cool, or anything like that. Sometimes I'm tempted to. Like, it's in me to kind of lose my patience and lose my cool from time to time, but I can't let them hear that. They won't be proud of that. Again, if they hear that over and over and over, and that's how they hear me interacting with people, very confrontational, very negative, things like that, one of two things. They're either going to resent me and not be proud of that behavior as they become adults and realize that that's not the way you treat people, or they're going to emulate that behavior and they're going to communicate with people like that. Both things are not good. One, they're not proud of me. Two, they emulate it and they're going to be somebody that other people that love them are not going to be proud of. So all of these things that I do, I am consciously thinking, are my kids going to be proud of it? Are they going to be proud of me? And that is my North Star. I talk about it all the time. Everything I do, not just my kids, my wife too. Now, she's already an adult. She already has her opinions about me. She formed them years ago. We fell in love. I formed the same opinions about her. We love each other, and we've been building upon that foundation forever. We still work hard to sustain respect from one another and continue to grow that love and that foundation and the house that we're building upon that foundation. That's different. We're adults. Our kids are not adults. They're kids right now. They have to look up to us, right? They need us. They depend on us for certain things. But eventually, like I started this, they will become adults. They will form opinions, and they will either respect you for who you were when they were a child and who you are as they become adults, They'll be proud of you, proud of the decisions you made and that you continue to make, or they're going to resent you and they're going to not be proud of a single thing you are because of how it makes you now, and now being future you. And that's not what you want. So think about that. Think about your interactions with your kids. Think about what they're seeing you do, they've got a front row seat to how you carry yourself, how you treat your spouse. That's a big one. Katie and I am very fortunate, both of us are, that we don't have an extremely stressful marriage, right? We've always gotten along. We love each other. We pick at each other constantly. We have normal marital fights and disagreements, but they never last very long. We love each other. But what we do in front of our kids is most important. We treat each other with respect, to an extreme measure. We do not let those kids, our kids hear us raise our voices every now and then, but it's never something like, oh gosh, mom just disrespected dad, or dad was just really mean to mom. They'll never see that. What they see is 99% of the time we are flirting with each other. We're being considerate of one another. We're always having date nights and planning things that's just her and I, and we're setting a model. So my daughter, this is a big goal of mine, and my wife. My daughter is seeing and getting a model of how we think she should be treated as a woman. And she's getting that by watching me treat Katie the way I treat her, with respect. I worship her, right? And my daughter sees that every day. And hopefully she has a desire to have a relationship with her partner one day that gives her that same admiration and respect, right? She's also seeing a model from her mother of how to treat a husband, how to treat a man, how to treat the person you love, how to respect them and fight for them and support them and all those things. She's learning that from my wife. She's learning how to, all the things I just said. My son is getting a front row seat to how to treat a woman. And he knows, he's 8 years old now, but he knows this is the model and this is how you treat a woman. You treat them with respect. We have a lot of fun. I cut up. I'm a smart ass all the time. He's seeing all that. He can't help it. He's going to be the same way to whoever he's with down the road. But that's all in fun. But he's learning how to respect and treat a woman. We're setting that model. He's going to be proud of his father and his mother. And from the mom side, he's learning how a woman should expect to be treated, right? And how to expect to be shown up for by your significant other. He's learning that from his mom, right? And all these things are going to one day, as they become adults, they'll look back and look at how we are at that point as a couple, but they'll be proud of it because we helped shape who they are. That's helping them have a calmer life because of the model that we shaped for them and showed them. So this has truly been a ramble. I've kind of jumped all over the place with this, but it's something, like I said, like most of my topics that I talk about on here, it stems from a quote I heard on a podcast. Got my wheels spinning, thought it'd be a good topic to talk about. And again, like always, I challenge you. How do you show up for your kids? What kind of model are you setting for them? Are they seeing you put yourself or be selfish with your health and your fitness? Are they seeing you be selfish in the sense of you pour into yourself? You're reading the books, you're listening to the podcast, you're learning, you're trying to grow as an individual. Are they seeing all that? Are you putting a model out there that is going to teach them that this is the way to do life, and not become an adult and say, I don't want to do it like dad did because I resent dad. I'm not proud of how dad did it, or mom, or whoever you are. Or are they going to emulate bad behavior? And think about your behavior. What is that behavior? Are you showing up? Are you disciplined? Are you positive to people? Are you a good communicator? Are you kind? Are you helpful? Are you strong? Are you resilient? All these things. Model it for your kids so that they can be proud of who you actually are. And if the answer is no, like if I was a fly on your wall, watching you interact with your kids and watching how you are setting an example for them, do you think I would have the opinion of, man, that's pretty impressive. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that person, and their kids are going to be proud of them. Are you going to be healthy 20 years from now when they have their own kids? Are you going to be vibrant, physically capable, understanding? And I always have to kind of caveat this, understanding that anything can happen that either takes us away from here instantly or disables us. Like that can take all the physical things away. But short of any of that happening, are you doing what's in your control to selfishly take care of yourself so that you can show up for them? Are you doing that? And again, I argue that it's even more selfish if you don't do those things, because you're robbing them of future you and future experiences and memories. You're robbing it from them if you're not taking care of yourself now. So that's all I got today for this week's Weekly Ramble. Thank you guys for tuning in.